we get to that vision?
Well, yeah, I will say this. Why I'm appreciative of being on this podcast is because we do need to uplift our our researchers and our policy analysts and folks who are doing statistics and but qualitative and quantitative work, and because there are Black people doing it,
Yeah.
we are there, and it takes
And
people
we
who,
need
like
y'all
you.
there because other folks are going to read that data wrong.
Exactly. We talk about a lot about discrimination in policing and housing, but another form of discrimination we seldom talk about is access to data. And so we need the stewards of data, people who can dispense it, can analyze it, can share it in real term, real people, plain
Make
talk,
it plain.
make it plain, and people who come from the lived experiences that we generally share. And so for me, it is about getting on the podcast, getting in some of your more popular venues, so that people can see, hey, I grew up in very similar circumstances. I see how you see. I'm just using tools to explain our stories in ways that can influence policy. And so for me, that's why I'm just very appreciative of people like you lending their imprimatur, their stage, their platforms to say, hey, here's another aspect of our community we need to pay attention to.
Well, I'm telling you, the reason why I'm doing this, and with no opportunity wasted, my hope, my purpose, my intention in all of this, it comes from my Buddhist practice. It comes from the space where I have learned that I am supposed to acknowledge all the value in all the people. I'm
Yes,
supposed to also reflect for folks that no matter where you come from, what your circumstances are, that you too can access or reach a level, enlightenment, wisdom, clarity about your life to help you make certain moves. And it's so important because, basically as Buddhism, we believe the cycle of birth and death, like you're being reborn and things like that. And what we believe is like someone like myself is choosing to come back yet again and
mm,
again and again so that I can show you, okay, let me show you with one leg. Let me show you as a Black trans immigrant. Let me show you in this form. Because
that's right.
right now we have a world full of folks who have been tricked out of their value. And like the
That's
Bible will
right.
talk about, like the devil's greatest trick really is tricking people out of that inherent value. So it is really important for me to use this platform to showcase folks like yourself who have been through some things. Who,
You know,
yeah, go ahead.
I will say that I'm glad you brought this up because we will present ourselves in many different forms. I just want to be clear to those listening. You have value in whatever form you're in. And it's your part of our life's mission to recognize our value, because people take great lengths to sort of either mute the value they have or try to achieve some value that's very ephemeral, that'll go away, that that these are not who you are, these things are not.
It only has value in the moment.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Like, and so I mean, we're always in a state of becoming, but at some point you need to figure out who you are, because there's value there. There is value there. And I like to think I'm handsome. I like to think I
You
like that.
is. You is.
Yeah, yeah, and all these things, but there's something deeper.
Yeah.
There's something deeper in who you are, and if you can tap in to that essence of who you are, then the sooner you'll get to where you want to go, ultimately. And so for me, I think we do a lot of gymnastics trying to figure out these very ephemeral, these very superficial things about who we are. I'm much more interested in sharing to our community that you have value, that you've come from different circumstances and you still have value. In fact, that sometimes you need to embrace where you've come from in order to see your value. So for me, that's part. I measure homes and businesses, but the reality is, from my research, I see it that our homes are much more valuable than they are priced,
Yeah.
and we are much more valuable
Then we are
than we are
priced.
priced.
Ooh,
Right.
that is a connection and a word